What if everything we thought we knew about Outlander's faith was wrong? What if the story we've carried with us for years is about to be rewritten in ways no one expected? Season 8 is coming, and with it, the biggest mystery of all, Faith's return, or perhaps Faith's reinvention. Right now, fans everywhere are asking the same question. Was the cliffhanger at the end of Season 7 a glimpse of truth or just another cruel twist meant to keep us guessing until the very end? And here's the thing. The clues are all around us if we're brave enough to piece them together. Ever since that haunting Season 7 finale, I haven't been able to get Faith out of my head. The way the story ended didn't just leave us hanging. It practically screamed that something bigger was about to unfold. And then came Blood of My Blood, the prequel that threw another log onto the fire. Some fans refused to watch it, saying, "I don't care about a prequel with no Jamie and Claire." But the truth is, whether you watched or not, it holds secrets that might connect directly back to what's coming in Season 8. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into, because the road ahead for Outlander is about to test every theory we've ever believed. Let's start with the most shocking possibility. In Season 7, William slept with Jane. If the writers really want us to believe that Faith is Jamie and Claire's lost daughter, then suddenly William's actions take on a disturbing layer, because that would make Jane Williams' half-niece. Could the showrunner, Matthew B. Roberts, really go down a road that uncomfortable? For me, that's almost impossible to accept, which is why a part of me is convinced this Faith is not the same Faith we mourned with Claire back in Paris. Maybe she's a completely different Faith, one tied to Fanny and Jane, but not to Jamie and Claire at all. And here's where the books start whispering to us. In Diana Gabaldon's novels, Faith dies as a baby. There's no return, no miraculous survival, no surprise reappearance later. Diana herself has even said that Faith's story in the books is closed. There's no alternate ending in Book 10, either. In fact, when Claire hears about Fanny's mother being named Faith, she brings it up to Jamie only for them to dismiss it as coincidence. But remember, Matthew B. Roberts has made it clear more than once that his vision for Outlander is not going to copy Diana's word for word. He's already changed key storylines, and he has said openly that the final season will diverge in some places from what Diana imagined. That means Faith's mystery could unfold in a completely unexpected way. And then, just when we think we're piecing it together, Master Raymond appears in Claire's dream, and everything changes. Why did he apologize? What secret was he carrying? And more importantly, why bring him back at all if he isn't central to what's coming? Longtime readers know that Diana described Raymond as a prehistoric time traveler, a man with strange healing powers, perhaps even an ancestor of Claire herself. And if that's true, then what if Raymond had the power to save Faith after all? What if the baby we thought was lost in Paris wasn't lost at all? Imagine Raymond lifting Faith out of Claire's arms that night, carrying her into another life, raising her far away with secrets only he could explain. That song Faith somehow knew, the one from Claire's world. It suddenly makes sense. Either Faith learned it directly from Raymond, who himself could have known it as a time traveler, or perhaps she remembered it from her earliest moments with Claire. But then comes the haunting possibility. Maybe Raymond apologized in Claire's dream not because he saved Faith, but because he made her believe in something that was never real. Maybe the woman called Faith isn't her daughter at all, and the entire mystery is nothing more than a cruel reminder of what could have been. This is the point where my mind keeps circling back to Blood of My Blood. In Outlander, we've always been told that Claire's parents died in a car crash when she was 5. That story defined her childhood and shaped her life. But in the prequel, everything changes. We learn that after the crash near the stones at Inverness, her parents actually traveled back in time to 1714, and there's more. During that very crash scene, it's revealed that Claire's mother, Julia, was pregnant with a second child. Suddenly, the history of Claire's family is shattered. Because if Julia gave birth in the past, that child would have lived in a time completely separate from Claire's own. But here's the kicker. Claire has never had a sibling in the books. So how does this twist connect? Could Julia's unborn child somehow be linked to Faith? Could this second child grow up to have a daughter named Faith, who then becomes the mother of Jane and Fanny? The timeline is messy, but not impossible. What if Julia's child was named Hope and Hope gave birth to Faith? That would make Faith Claire's niece, tying the mystery back to Claire's own bloodline in a shocking way. If that theory holds, then the mystery isn't about Claire's baby surviving. It's about her family history being rewritten in ways she never knew. And if there's one thing Outlander has always loved, it's rewriting history in the most heartbreaking ways. And this is only the beginning, because as much as Season 8 promises to give us answers, it also promises to tear open new wounds. Think about it for a moment. If Julia's unborn child survived in the past, that means Claire has an entire branch of family history she never knew existed. Imagine the shock of learning that the sister or brother you never met had children, and those children carried forward a legacy that now collides with your own. That's where the Faith mystery explodes into something more than just a tragic memory. It becomes a puzzle of lineage, time travel, and destiny. And the more you look at it, the more it feels like the writers deliberately planted this in Blood of My Blood to prepare us for what's to come in Season 8. But let's circle back to the cliffhanger. It's important to remember that this wasn't supposed to happen at all. Originally, Season 7 was meant to end on a positive note, tying up the loose ends since the creators thought it would be the final season. Only when the show was renewed did they decide to leave us with a question mark, a dangling thread in the form of Faith's mystery. That means the Faith storyline wasn't just a random idea. It was carefully chosen as the hook that would pull us into Season 8. And if that's the case, then the answers must be significant enough to carry the weight of the entire opening. So what happens when Season 8 begins? I can almost see it. Claire, restless after the dream with Master Raymond, sits down with Jamie to talk it through. They debate whether it's even possible that Faith could have lived. They weigh the logic, they confront the pain, and ultimately, they decide they need to dig deeper. This is where Fanny becomes key. She's the only one who can shed light on her mother's past, and Jamie and Claire's questions will lead them to truths they're not prepared for. Some of those truths may even send them searching for Raymond himself, though his last known location was in France. Could he be drawn back into their lives through visions, flashbacks, or even direct encounters? The fact that the actor confirmed his return for one episode and hinted at a flashback scene tells us that the show will not leave this thread hanging for long. And here's the twist that makes my heart race. Season 8 can't afford to stretch this mystery for all 10 episodes. There's simply too much else to cover. That means the Faith storyline will likely be unraveled within the first 2 episodes, setting the stage for the larger battles and emotional arcs to come. If that's true, then the opening of Season 8 won't just answer our questions. It will catapult us straight into new dangers, new villains, and new heartbreaks. We already know new characters are arriving at Fraser's Ridge, bringing both allies and enemies into Jamie and Claire's orbit. We know Marsali and Fergus are returning, their storylines poised to intertwine once again with the central family. And looming in the background is William, torn between loyalty, identity, and the complicated web of his family ties. Add to that the introduction of Amaranthus Grey, who will stir her own kind of trouble with William, and suddenly the Faith mystery feels like just the first domino in a much larger game. And if that weren't enough, we've got Lord John Grey's kidnapping on the horizon. Imagine Jamie and Claire racing against time to save one of the most beloved characters of the series. Their journey will test not just their courage, but also their bond as they face enemies who know exactly how to wound them. And while all this unfolds, a darker prophecy hangs over Jamie's head. From the teaser, we know Bree will hand Jamie Frank's book, the one that reveals his death in battle. The look on Jamie's face in that moment is burned into my mind, because this isn't just about fate. It's about whether Jamie can escape the destiny written in another man's history. But let's not forget the elephant in the room. Season 8 is the last season, which means every question we've carried for years must be answered. Will Jamie and Claire grow old together in peace, or will war and time travel tear them apart once more? Will Jamie's ghost, that haunting presence we glimpsed back in the very first episode, finally be explained? Or will it remain one of Outlander's most enduring mysteries? And perhaps most importantly, what does the ending of their story look like? A quiet life on the ridge? A final adventure through the stones? Or something so shocking we haven't even dared to imagine it? Every path circles back to Faith, because whether she is real, imagined, or symbolic, she represents everything Outlander has always been about: love, loss, time, and the choices that ripple across generations. And that's why I believe the show chose her as the cliffhanger, the perfect embodiment of unresolved pain and unanswered questions. But don't think for a second that this is where the mysteries stop, because Season 8 is packed with them. And the deeper we dig, the more we realize the Faith mystery may be only the beginning of a much larger revelation. And that brings us to the most haunting question of all. If Faith's story is answered in Episode 1, then what lies waiting for us in Episode 2 and beyond? If Episode 1 is about unraveling the Faith mystery, then Episode 2 will be about unleashing the consequences. Think about it. Once Claire and Jamie receive the answers they're searching for, those answers won't just bring closure. They'll open new doors that may lead to even darker revelations. Because in Outlander, every resolution comes with a price and every truth has a shadow. Let's imagine the possibilities. If Faith truly lived even for a short time, then why was her existence hidden from Claire and Jamie for so long? Who kept that secret, and for what purpose? If Master Raymond was involved, was it out of kindness or was it manipulation? And if Faith grew up under Raymond's guidance, what role does she play in the broader tapestry of time travel that has haunted Claire's journey since day one? These questions can't be brushed aside, and that's why the first episodes of Season 8 could carry a level of emotional weight unlike anything we've seen before. But what if the truth is harsher? What if Faith never lived, and the entire dream was nothing more than Raymond's desperate apology for deceiving Claire in some way? Imagine the heartbreak of Jamie and Claire realizing that the child they mourned in Paris was never truly returned. To them, that the hope they clung to was just an illusion. Outlander thrives on heartbreak, and this kind of revelation would set the tone for the final season perfectly, reminding us that even after decades of love and survival, Jamie and Claire are never safe from pain. And while Faith's story is closing, other storylines are already pushing to the forefront. We've heard whispers of Amaranthus Grey, a woman who will weave herself into William's life in ways that challenge both his sense of duty and his heart. William's journey has always been one of identity: who he is, who he belongs to, and how he carries the Fraser blood while being raised as a British officer. With Amaranthus stepping in, his loyalties may become even more fractured, and in a final season, that kind of tension is exactly what keeps us glued to the screen. Then there's the looming presence of Lord John Grey, whose kidnapping could be one of the season's most intense arcs. John isn't just Jamie's friend, he's a moral compass, a bridge between worlds, and one of the most selfless characters in the Outlander universe. To see him in danger, ripped away from his position of control, would shake every character connected to him. Jamie's determination to save him will not only highlight his loyalty, but will also bring out Claire's fierce commitment to protecting the people they love. This storyline alone has the potential to deliver the kind of suspense and action that Outlander fans live for. And while all these personal dramas unfold, we cannot ignore the specter of war. From the teaser, we know that Bree presents Jamie with Frank's book, revealing that history has recorded Jamie's death in battle. This isn't just foreshadowing, it's a ticking clock. How do you fight against a death that has already been written? Can history be changed, or will Jamie's fate unfold exactly as the book predicts? This isn't just Jamie's struggle, it's Claire's nightmare. Because if she couldn't save Faith all those years ago, how can she hope to save Jamie now? The beauty of this season lies in its duality. On one hand, we're promised closure, answers to questions about Faith, the ghost, and the fates of our beloved characters. On the other hand, we're staring into a storm of uncertainty, with every new revelation threatening to undo the fragile peace the Frasers have fought for. And through it all, one question continues to haunt us. Is destiny something we accept or something we fight against until our last breath? But here's the catch. Season 8 only has 10 episodes. 10 episodes to resolve years of storylines, to untangle mysteries that have lingered since the very first book, and to deliver a farewell worthy of Jamie and Claire's journey. That means no time will be wasted. Every episode will be packed with revelations, heartbreak, and choices that could change everything. And if the Faith storyline is being wrapped up early, it's because something even bigger is waiting just beyond it. So what could possibly top the Faith mystery? What secret has been hiding in plain sight all along, waiting to be revealed in the final chapter of Outlander? The answer may lie not just in the lives of Jamie and Claire, but in the mysteries of time itself. And if you thought the Faith twist was shocking, then brace yourself. Because the final pieces of Outlander's puzzle are about to be placed, and they may change the way we see the entire story. And this leads us straight into the question fans have been asking for years. What about Jamie's ghost? From the very first episode of Outlander, one image has haunted us all. Frank spotting Jamie's ghost watching Claire through the window in Inverness. For years, fans have debated the meaning of that moment. Was it foreshadowing? Was it destiny? Or was it simply one of the show's greatest mysteries, left unsolved to stir our imaginations? Now, with Season 8 being the final chapter, the writers cannot leave that ghost unanswered. And here's where the Faith mystery and the ghost might intersect in ways we've never dared to consider. If Jamie's ghost appears in 1940s Inverness, long before Claire ever steps through the stones, then what does that mean about the rules of time travel? Could Jamie's spirit have crossed timelines, reaching Claire even beyond death? Or could it mean that Jamie himself, in some form, finds a way to the future, leaving behind the fragment of a life that never should have been possible? The connection between life, death, and time has always been the heartbeat of Outlander, and the ghost mystery feels like the final thread that ties it all together. Now imagine this. The Faith storyline in Episode 1 forces Claire and Jamie to confront the fragility of life and the unfairness of fate. The ghost storyline at the end of the season then mirrors that theme, showing us that love doesn't obey time or death. It exists outside of both. If Faith's mystery tests Claire's heart as a mother, then Jamie's ghost tests her heart as a wife. Together, these arcs could form the perfect bookends to Outlander's tale. And let's not forget the looming threat of battle. Jamie's supposed death, written in Frank's book, casts a long shadow over the final season. Every step Jamie takes, every fight he joins, every plan he makes will feel heavy with the knowledge that history has already chosen his end. But history has been wrong before. Claire has defied it before. Could they defy it one last time? Or will the price of love and rebellion finally be too high? The question of endings now becomes unavoidable. Will Jamie and Claire pass peacefully into old age, surrounded by their family at Fraser's Ridge? Or will they face one final tragedy, one last sacrifice that defines their story for all time? Will their love endure across centuries, echoed in the ghostly image Frank once saw? Or will their legacy be carried on through their children, through Brianna, through Faith, whether real or symbolic, and through the family they fought so hard to protect? Every clue we've seen so far points to Season 8 being a tapestry of endings. Marsali and Fergus returning isn't just nostalgia. It's a reminder that family ties run deep and must be honored before the curtain falls. William's struggle with identity isn't just personal. It's the final echo of Jamie's legacy, passed down whether he wants it or not. Amaranthus Gray's introduction isn't random. It's a spark that may ignite William's future beyond Outlander's end. And John Gray's kidnapping isn't just a side plot. It's a test of loyalty, courage, and the lengths Jamie and Claire will go for those they love. And then there is Claire herself. For all the mysteries surrounding Faith, Raymond, Jamie's ghost, and the battles to come, Claire remains the anchor. The woman who once fell through the stones will now face her final reckoning. Does she return to her own time? Does she remain in the past? Or does her journey take her somewhere even, beyond time, where love and loss blur into something eternal? The choices she makes will define not just her life, but the entire story we've followed for so many years. So here we are, on the edge of Outlander's greatest season. The Faith mystery will open the door, pulling us back into the world with heartbreak and hope. The battles, kidnappings, and new arrivals will carry us through twists and dangers we've never seen before. And finally, the ghost, the moment that started it all, will bring everything full circle. The release window may say early 2026, but the questions burning in our minds will not wait that long. Did Faith live? Who was she really? Will Jamie defy the death written in history? And will the ghost finally be explained? These aren't just plot points, they're the very soul of Outlander, and they will define how this story lives in our hearts forever. Because when the end comes, it won't just be about answers. It will be about love that survives death, about family that survives time, and about a story that began with a ghost and may very well end with one too. Now the only question that remains is this: when Season 8 begins, are we truly ready for the answers we've been waiting for since the very beginning?